Frank. What's the weirdest thing you've ever saw in here?
Let me ask you a question, kid. Did you see that movie, Night of the Living Dead?
Hey, we gonna party tonight or what?
Yeah, we are gonna party.
Well, where are we gonna party?
I don't know, somewhere.
Hey, we could go to the park.
Oh, no, we can't. The cops said they'd shoot us if we go back to the park. Yeah, and I ain't in no mood to go tonight.
I like death.
And welcome to minute 87 of Do You Want to Party, the Movies by Minute podcast for the 1985 groundbreaking horror classic, The Return of the Living Dead. I'm your host, Troy, and joining me for this minute is the probable final appearance for this show of the, once again, the dynamic duo.
Hey, it's Ahmed here, aka Horror Savvy.
And Natasha, just regular.
All right. Thank you, kids, for coming back and joining me for these final, actually, really the actual last moments of this movie, technically, because from this point on, we just got rehashing scenes and closing credits. So, yeah, so there you go.
That's for last.
Exactly. All right. So to begin with, this particular minute is going to start off with the early start over a miniature city and ends with back in the cemetery flying through the rain. So a gray-blue morning sky that is highlighted by wisps of pink clouds catching the sunrise of the day as it crests above the horizon of a mountain range that appears almost like a deep purple black because of its distance. A cityscape fills the mid-area of the scene. Several tall buildings with scattered lit-up windows dotted across them that indicate early morning activity that is breaking the view. As one's eyes wander, it captures the different uses of the buildings, falling somewhere between the category of living or hotel-like structures to businesses with several industrial-looking containers, silos, and even a few non-moving vehicles. The final fading sounds of the distant whistling plays out as the only thing heard. Then, suddenly, a white flash of light envelops everything. The sound of a loud crashing erupts simultaneously. The vision quickly fades to a pink hue, a view of seeing rooftop housing, bricks and siding homes with roofed tiles and windows. In the distance is a different lineup of buildings and of offices and apartments. The sky is suddenly shown the changing of the rising day. The sky becoming slightly pinker with a blue-gray clouds. Central set behind the row of buildings in the distance, a fiery ball of destruction shoots upwards, its mass growing larger. The explosion continues to envelop and roll into itself with a familiar shape of a mushroom as it mushrooms. As it reaches higher into the sky, suddenly an unseen force tosses and tears the shingle roofing off the houses in the foreground, sending them all wildly into the air as a giant cloud carries them off. The words, 5:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, flashes onto the screen. We now witness an aerial view of destruction. A city block erupted into fire as we hear Colonel Glover giving his review of the situation.
Spectacular results, sir.
Colonel Glover sits in front of his cabinet, vocalizing through the receiver with the unheard voice from earlier.
Very close to optimal placement.
The colonel goes into describe the amount of space the destruction took up.
Well, sir, only 20 square blocks destroyed.
Reading all of the reports from the paper sticking out of its dot matrix printer.
Less than 4,000 dead, General.
Meanwhile, in the streets of a busy city, a fire engine and its crew try putting out a localized fire in the middle of the street. Billowing smoke consuming the much smaller vehicle as the collapsing destruction around them. The colonel, in voiceover, informs the general about his nonchalant concern about the condition being taken care of by Mother Nature.
I wouldn't worry about the fires, General. The rain is taking care of that right now.
The burning smoke of destruction and starts to move skyward to melt with the natural clouds above. There's a flash of lightning as the rain starts to fall. The colonel points out his reports of irritation from the precipitation, dismissing it as inconsequential.
Well, there have been complaints about burning skin, but I shouldn't worry. Minor irritation, General. The rain will wash everything away.
The earlier fate of one cemetery being repeated upon another as several tombstones getting doused with the new falling rain. The ground becomes saturated with the continued pouring. Glover continues to reassure the caller that the situation won't be a hassle.
That's correct, sir. All should be back to normal by morning.
As the water trickles through the ground and through a wooden box of a cadaver slowly dripping upon a pair of dress shoes. The colonel then points out the situation of the commander-in-chief surveying the situation in the upcoming day.
Yes, sir. I understand the president will visit Louisville tomorrow.
He then chuckles off the concern of the unheard response.
No, we wouldn't want that to happen, sir.
The camera rises over the form of a tombstone to gaze over a tightly packed ground of endless grave markers, being doused with water from above. As the colonel wraps up his conversation, he mentions the comfort level everyone has of the situation.
No, sir. This hasn't been very pleasant for anyone. Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
The sound of underground banging and moaning starts to grow louder and louder as the view flies through the cemetery. And that is where we end our minute. All right. So I want to point out to begin with the fact that we are dealing with definitely miniature work here. As one can plainly see, it's quite obvious that we have these two cityscapes that switch between the two are actually like definitely miniatures to begin with.
Yeah.
It's not
But
that obvious to everybody, but sure. You said that, I was like, damn, really?
Well, then I apologize for stating that outright. But again,
Oh no, it's all good.
it was mentioned in the previous minute that the miniature work was done by a company for this movie. The production company of, I believe, Fantasy 2 is the name of the company that did the miniatures and dealt with the destruction sequence and all that. So it's not like it was done an in-house sort of thing. Again, we're dealing with a lot of stock footage, as Dan O'Bannon has used several times throughout the movie. Like a lot of these shots you see of a helicopter in the sky is all stock footage that they just culminated from going through whatever catalogs. And again, you can tell by just the look of it too. There's a little bit of a different grain from the film that you're watching to the
not exactly
overlaid.
the same style.
Exactly. Yeah. I do want to point out that 2 minutes ago, where we talked about in the sequence that was cut out when Colonel Glover was first on the communications. As you can clearly see in here, when he's reading from the paperwork, he reaches his hand over. If you watch the little plug that is holding into the communication device that he's talking on, the actual thing starts to tilt over. And what has happened is previously in the commentary track, William Stout has mentioned that they had to hot glue that into place at the last second. And because of the actual heat of them filming in that household, apparently the glue didn't have enough time to solidify.
Yeah.
So it actually slowly tilts over in the original shot. So when they went to show the lines that he says in the work print version, again, you have to go back to that episode to hear us describe that. They actually show it happening, but they reuse the footage because you don't actually see Colonel Glover talking. So it's a voiceover of this footage of him where you actually can see in clear daylight that little thing just slowly starts to tip over. It cuts before it falls completely over like it does in the actual work print, but it's kind of neat to see the actual physical evidence of an earlier mistake that was covered, but when they reuse the footage, obviously they didn't have anything to cover it. So yeah, so there you go.
Love it.
Yeah. And again, as we described, that the same thing is happening to another graveyard. Well, not really. It's happened to this. It's just reusing the footage from earlier in the movie to get their point across of what's happened and all that sort of thing. All right. So over on the commentary track, which is we're dealing with writer and director Dan O'Bannon and the production designer William Stout. So as we start the minute, Dan Bannon points out how this is a great shot, and how he's extremely happy with the turnout of the shot. He'd gone to the crew working on the effect, asking them to have the shingles fly off the roofs, and when he saw the final footage, he was extremely happy with it. Once again, William Stout mentions the company of Fantasy 2 and how that company had just finished working on the Terminator for the same film company before they went on to work to their production.
Okay.
Then almost excitedly, William Stout points out the hot glue situation when the plug on the receiving end starts to tilt over. After a brief pause, he then mentions how the water's again seeping into the ground. Because they don't have much more information, all that sort of thing. I will point out that we get the return of the closed captioning from the zombie subtitles. Just before the explosion, we have the subtitles of the zombies saying, "Oh shit." When the water starts hitting the shoes, we have the subtitles read, "Hey zombies, wake up." When the camera goes over the tombstone, "So many brains to eat, so little time." And then after that, it gets followed up with, "Those brains aren't going to eat themselves. Let's get to it." So that's what we got for the last bit of the closed caption that we will hear from the zombies as well.
Yeah, true.
All right, so according to the script, and again, we are dealing with the story and screenplay by Dan O'Bannon. This is the revision from October of 1983, and this is based on a story and screenplay by John Russo, Rudy Rickey, and Russell Steiner. So, exterior, skyline, dawn. Kaboom! Well, like crap load of O's. A nuclear explosion lights the dawn sky, throwing its glare over the whole city. The shockwave shatters windows, lights start going on. Superimpose the title, 5:01 a.m., Eastern Daylight Time. The fireball climbs towards the sky like a hideous flower. Narrator in voiceover. The images you are seeing is the fireball cast by a 1.5 kiloton tactical nuclear artillery shell fired from the distance of 34 miles. More than 20 square blocks of industrial Louisville were destroyed in the explosion, which was officially described as a chemical refinery explosion. Over 4,000 persons died in the immediate effects of the blast. A top-quality stock footage of the refinery fire, or similar filming disaster, seen in a column of fire and smoke as wide as a football field, over a mile into the air above the industrial district. Aerial footage. Narrator, voiceover. Studies by the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, as well as the Jefferson County Health Inspector, have shown that a 300% increase in the incidence of leukemia and infant mortality among residents of the area. These and other complaints from survivors of the July 4th, 1983 Louisville refinery disaster have led to environmental protection agencies to order 900 tons of soil removed from the area. At the time of this filming, that soil is residing in 175 railway cars parked on an unused railway line in South Dakota. Exterior, South Dakota, dusk. A railroad car loaded with dirt, the last of the long chain, roll up and stop against a bumper with a clank. The end. The Return of the Living Dead. So that's it. The script just ends right there. There's no extra. Yeah, it's quite a different ending. So it is a totally different sort of ending than one we end up with, which is, I think, I'm more thankful for the version we have.
Yeah.
But that is going to bring us to also our final bit of the work print comparison.
Mm-hmm.
So again, work print comparison is when you record an entire film and you put all your footage together, you assemble it into one long version, and that's going to be your work print. You then edit that down to get to your final print, and that's what you end up with. So for example, as we are dealing with minute 86 to 87, we are dealing in the work print version of 106 minutes and 38 seconds to the end, which is 107 and 46 seconds. So whereas the final version of the film, we see the cityscape before the flash of white light. However, in the work print version, established the establishing shot of the city before the explosion actually is in the previous minute before we actually then see uh, Freddie, Tina, and Ernie's sequence, and then Trash in the cemetery, and then Bert in the warehouse basement. So, to begin with, this particular minute actually starts off with the actual blasting white light of the explosion, which is, again, the footage that they used from Factory 4. So, they used that and all that. We now hear the voice of the an unknown gentleman describing what we were witnessing.
The image you are seeing is the fireball cast by a low-yield tactical nuclear artillery shell. More than 20 square blocks of industrial Louisville were destroyed in this explosion, which was officially described as a petrochemical refinery accident. Over 4,000 persons died from the immediate effects of the blast. Studies by the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, as well as the Jefferson County Health Inspector, have shown a 1,200% increase in the incidence of leukemia and infant mortality among residents of the area. These and other complaints from survivors of the 4th of July Louisville refinery disaster have led the Environmental Protection Agency to order 900 tons of soil removed from the area. At the time of this filming, that soil is residing in 175 railroad cars parked on an unused railway line in South Dakota.
As it sounds like a news report describing the destruction and the aftermath described as the 4th of July Louisville refinery disaster. Several different stock footages of an array of different disasters are shown, not only on the screen itself, but as a footage of an array of different disasters that are shown not only the screen itself, but as a collective shots of several different TV screens showing the same footage. The last of the print ends with a shot of the railroad cars transporting containments of spoiled soil. And as this version of the movie does not loop back into itself, it comes to a conclusion with no credits. So there you go. So obviously, the dropping of the original ending that they had scripted and actually culminated together for the thing, they obviously had to, why they reconstructed it using footage from earlier in the movie. Like, again, why the reason the footage that of Colonel Glover, which was slightly earlier in the movie that was cut out, they just rehashed it. So that's why we do actually get to see the little hot glue nub fall over. And then again, the whole entire sequence. And while I did start off technically saying that you guys are here for the final minutes of the movie, technically that is correct, because once we get into repeating the footage and all that sort of thing, technically it's no longer the movie. But basically the beginning of the next minute is the 5 seconds of that one skeleton rising out of the grave before, queuing up party time.
Yep.
So, yeah. So that's what we got there, kids. We guys got anything else to add to this particular minute of the podcast?
Well, I mean, it's the big boom at the end of the flick, so it's like, you're not getting a lot of dialogue or anything
No,
like that.
exactly. Yeah.
Just some really cool shots and
yeah.
some neat effects, and then kind of just ends with the camera panning around the graveyard. So it's not that it's not like it fizzles out or anything, but as for describing the last minute, I mean, there's not too much going on. There's not really any actors to speak of or anything like
exactly,
that.
Yeah.
Back of someone's head and a voiceover.
Yeah, exactly. The past couple of minutes have been a little like that. It's like a couple of like just trying to stretch out colorfully the description of every single minute and whatnot. But yeah.
Yeah, I only have two comments. One is totally unrelated, and then one is, I guess, kind of related.
Okay.
So for the last year, Ahmed's been telling me every time we see some sort of cityscape in any movie or show.
Okay, yeah.
He's always like painting, because
map painting. Matte
Sorry?
painting, right? Matte
painting? No.
Not even you would think.
No.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Okay. Maybe you take over.
Well, no, it's just that. So, I mean, Natasha's an artist. We know that, mostly doing portraiture kind of stuff. And
yes. Trying to sell dark,
every time
painting.
I go to a gallery and she's just like, oh, I wonder what I could put in, try and enter in this gallery. I wonder what I could try and enter this gallery. And you go through the galleries, it's all landscapes and horizons.
Right.
and nothing that she can do, but that she just doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
So anytime we see like a cityscape or something like that, like a cool shot,
Yeah.
I'm like painting, like
Yeah. Every time. So every episode of Friends started like that. It's like, so immediately I'm already tuned. Like when I see the sky before the bomb,
Yeah.
uh,
with the miniatures.
yeah, I'm like painting. And then like I see the mushroom cloud. I'm like, actually, you know what? That would be pretty interesting.
And then it's
Um,
not in the gallery anymore.
exactly. Yes. But anyway, so that's my unrelated comment. And then
That's kind of related. Don't put yourself short. That was pretty relatable to this. Yeah.
well, it's more relatable than Hook and banana slushies, but and my actual
Still don't
relate
believe those things were real.
Troy, I don't go to gas stations, but I'm gonna start for you, okay? I'm gonna leave my house. I'm gonna walk over to them and just make sure, like, what do you guys got? Anyways, but the related thing I have to say
Yes.
was that reading these zombie subtitles,
Mm-hmm.
it's nice to know that in death or like not like and if you don't die and go somewhere else, you actually kind of just stay there waiting for,
Right.
some sort of situation like this to occur,
Mm-hmm.
that your thoughts are very simple. So that brings me a lot of peace.
Okay.
It's just about brains and how you're going to get them,
Mm-hmm.
and I really
Understandable.
appreciate
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that kind of
Yeah.
makes me feel better. So that was my
Right.
final comment.
As to that, again, we are well aware of that these obviously the subtitles were added later
Yeah,
on, much later on.
after the fact,
Like
yeah.
we're talking like several versions of this movie
Yeah.
on DVD or whatever it's currently on.
I don't
I
think they
believe,
came out until like the later Blu-rays.
yeah, exactly. The later Blu-rays, like, yeah, yeah. But again, obviously, no one from the original production obviously had anything to do with it because the actual zombies refer to themselves as zombies, even though the word zombie is never uttered in this movie.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to see how they I like what they tried to do, but sometimes it seems a little like to have subtitles of the half corpse talking while she's in the scene where she actually isn't talking is kind of weird to see that sort
I
of
think
thing.
for me, it's
But
like, you know how they always used to make, well, they don't really do it anymore, but whenever a movie would come out, if it hit it big enough, you get an animated series,
yeah.
right? So, you had like Godzilla, the animated series, you had Beetlejuice, the animated series, you had Men in Black, the animated series, you had every
Hmm.
Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, all of them,
Yep.
any big
Yep.
movie
Yep.
that came out, animated series. I'd like to think that if they made a Return of the Living Dead animated series, this is kind
Right.
of what we'd get. The zombie subtitles,
Oh, I see what you're getting at. I see.
right?
Okay. Yeah. 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 No, if it were to be a Saturday, yeah,
Like
they'd
Saturday
have to.
morning cartoon,
Yep.
I
Yeah, they
mean,
would
hey,
definitely have
we had
to.
a Killer Tomatoes animated
There was,
series.
there
What the
So,
was.
hell is that?
oh yeah, you don't know that
Oh
one.
yeah.
That's all
Yeah,
under the
no,
radar for
you're
you.
right. Attack of the
Yeah.
Killer Tomatoes did have an animated series. That's right.
Yeah.
I know what we're
There was
doing
a
later.
small team of people that were out basically battling these
Killer Tomatoes.
Killer Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, animated Killer Tomatoes. Yeah, it
Is
was
it
an
like Ren
animated
and
feature to begin
Stimpy?
with.
No, it's not like Ren and
No,
Stimpy.
no, it was
Okay.
very poorly
Nothing is
animated
like Ren
and
and Stimpy.
very. Oh no, nothing is like Ren and Stimpy. No,
Oh man,
no.
it's like my favorite thing.
Yeah, I've got her hooked.
Nice, nice.
Also related. Oh, Troy, I don't know why you bring me back.
All right. So on that note, we're gonna wrap up this particular minute. Again, like I probably told you guys the last time I had you on. I am so thankful that you guys have decided to devote the time that you have to helping me out with this project. It really means a lot to me. I'm glad we were able to do this with such fantastic people that have joined me on this, and you guys are like no exception to the rule. I mean, I've always enjoyed our talks and all that sort of thing, especially with the whole entire expert novice sort of thing going on your end and all that, which is
Who's who? For
always
those who haven't seen all the episodes.
exactly, exactly. But your expertise has been fantastic to get, Ahmed. Your fresh perspective is just like a breath of fresh air, Natasha,
Thank
to
you for
have
calling
and
it
all that
that.
sort of thing. And no, and again, I thank you for. I know it was on your list, but the fact that you actually watched this movie for the first time to join in on your first episode is just like I can't tell you how much that means to me. Hopefully, the near future, we're going to start working on the new project, and I hope I can count on you guys to join in as well. Plus, there's also, we got the movie draft coming up and all that sort of thing. So we'll be getting involved with that. And we've also got, I get to say it now, I'm going to put it out there that there's a Valentine's Day episode of 13 Pods of Horror that I hope you guys will join me for because
Okay.
it'll come out on the 13th
All right.
of
That'd be
February.
cool.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's
we'll
a
just be talking about,
Friday, right?
we'll probably be
Yeah.
covering
One
the
of the three
original and
Friday
remake.
13ths of this year.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. All right. So again, audience, you're also one that I have to thank as well. It's been a long journey, and you guys have been hanging around all this time. So I'm very thankful for you guys being here. And that being said, once again, thank you, Ahmed. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you, audience. I got nothing else to say except see you next Wednesday.
You've just been listening to a Planet Geek production of Do You Want to Party? A Movies by Minute podcast of the 1985 The Return of the Living Dead. Please be sure to subscribe, download, comment, share, rate, and review. Be sure to follow us on our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, or Letterboxd. Search for Planet Geek Productions. X, former Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky, search for Planet Geek Pod. Or send us an email to planetgeekpod@gmail.com. Our closing music is provided by Night Chill. See the show notes for more details. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and farewell, fiends.
The vision quickly fades to a pink. Wait, I just lost my place. Oh, no, it was supposed to be. I left out a word. That's why. I knew I'd written down a word, and I just looked at my notes. And I'm like, that word's not there. All right. As he still sits in front of his communication display cabinet, giving his review of the situation. Oops. Let's try reading that line over again. Try. To go. I can see the flashlights, the flashing on your screen, and I can see the words lightning flashes. So it's pretty good timing you got there on your side.
Oh,
there.
it's all him. Yeah. No.
Yep.
All right.
I bet the remote here and just pause and play.
Excellent. So I do want to point out that in the previous. I have to check my notes to see if it's the previous minute or the minute before, but I will edit that in later. What are we watching, kids?
Watching the thing tilt over.
Tilt over. Isn't that great? Isn't that so hilarious? Yeah.
Yeah, I misunderstood it completely. I thought the camera was tilting. I'm like, where's that?
No.
No, I saw it
no.
after. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, that's harder like to.
I restart the minute, so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Leaning tower.
Exactly. All right. So that is going to bring us to over on the that would be, oh no, wait, sorry, that is according to the script. Whereas I have to go to my script, which is on this page right here. A little more organized than usual. All right, there we go.
That's it.
Wrap that up nice and neat and all that sort of thing. Yeah.
Nice.
The look you gave me when I said, like, who's the novice or whatever was like, I finally understand why you pissed me off on purpose. If I give you half of a look like that, it makes sense. I'm glad we had that moment.
I'm glad I could be there to witness that.
Have it on camera.
Exactly.